everyone, welcome back to Horse Patterns. In our last videos, we explored domain-driven design, where we created a shared language between the business and development teams. This methodology allows us to align software design with business needs by modeling the core domain carefully. Now, we're taking the next step by looking at how to structure your code using a powerful methodology called Clean Architecture, designed by Robert C. Martin, also known as Uncle Bob. I'll walk you through how to implement a project using this structure, explain its advantages, and show you real code examples broken down into key sections. So, what is clean architecture? Well, clean architecture is a design philosophy that emphasizes clarity, maintainability, and scalability. It structures your application into distinct, organized components, where core business logic remains independent from frameworks, UI, databases, or any external tools. This separation improves testability, flexibility, and long-term adaptability. You can change the database or framework without touching your core logic. To understand how clean architecture works, picture it as 4 concentric circles, each representing a different layer of your application. Let's break them down. The entities. This contains your core domain models and business rules, completely independent from frameworks, databases, or external libraries. These classes should stand the test of time and be reusable across many applications. The use cases contains application-specific logic, how the app behaves in response to inputs, interacts with entities, and coordinates business rules. Should not know anything about the web, database, or the user interface. Interface adapters contains controllers, presenters, gateways, mappers, and DTOs. Adapts data from external sources, like HTTP requests or databases, into forms usable by the inner layers. Converts input and output between the external world and the application. Frameworks and drivers. Includes frameworks like Spring, the database, web UI, file systems, or any external tool. These are details, not the application itself. You should be able to swap this layer without affecting the core logic. By doing this, your domain and use cases stay clean, focused, and completely independent from infrastructure concerns like databases, frameworks, or external APIs. As a result, you unlock several key benefits that make your software easier to maintain and scale. Separation of concerns. Each layer has a clearly defined role, making the system easier to understand, maintain, and extend. Testability. You can easily write unit tests for business logic without needing the database or framework. Flexibility. Because everything depends on interfaces, you can swap out frameworks, databases, or UI layers without touching the core. Scalability. The structure supports future growth, new features, and system integrations with ease. Now, let's take a look at a practical example. I'll walk you through a simple project using clean architecture principles, step by step. Let's take a look at our domain layer. In this layer, we define our core domain model, in this case, an athlete. It includes fields like athlete ID, name, and age, and encapsulates rules like setting the category based on age. There are no framework annotations. This is pure business logic. Here we define athlete's use case implementation, which implements the application's business logic, like getting, creating, and updating an athlete. This class only talks to interfaces. It does not know how data is stored or retrieved. It just defines what should happen. This interface, athlete input port, defines the contract for our use cases. It lists methods like getAthlete, createAthlete, and updateAthlete. The controller will use this to interact with the business logic. This interface, athlete DAO output port, defines the operations related to data persistence. It abstracts the database access, allowing the use case layer to remain independent of the actual data source. In the Athlete Controller, we handle HTTP requests. It converts input data, DTOs, into domain models and passes them to the use case layer through the input port. Likewise, it maps the response back to DTOs. This layer is responsible for interfacing with the external world, not for implementing business logic. The Athlete DAO implementation class lives in the infrastructure layer. It implements the output port and uses a repository to save and retrieve data from the database. It maps database entities to domain models and vice versa, keeping the domain model clean. So in conclusion, by following the principles of the 4 concentric circles, entities, use cases, interface adapters, and frameworks and drivers, you design an application where core business logic is protected, responsibilities are clearly defined, and each part depends only on what it truly needs. This approach delivers clear separation of concerns, greater ease in testing and safe refactoring, long-term maintainability and adaptability, flexibility to replace tools, frameworks, or databases without impacting the core business logic. It's a proven way to keep your codebase clean, resilient, and ready to adapt as your project grows. Have you used clean architecture in your own projects? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more awesome software design content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.